Antibiotic resistance. What is antibiotic resistance? Simply that bacteria becomes resistant to antibiotics. What causes the bacteria to become resistant? Mutations. Notice in the second group of bacteria in the picture, there is a lighter colored bacteria. This bacteria represents the resistant bacteria. At the end, only the lighter color resistant bacteria survives. This could be considered an example of Darwin's theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest. There are two ways that resistant mutation is spread. Parent to offspring. A bacteria cell passes the mutation on when reproduction takes place. The process is called binary fission and produces two identical cells. Next is same generation. There are three ways for mutations to be passed this way. Conjugation is when a cell directly transfers genetic material to another cell. One bacteria cell, the donor, uses the pilus to attach and transfer genetic material to another cell, the recipient. Now both cells contain the mutation. Transduction. Viruses are at work here. Bacterial viruses or bacteriophages attach to bacteria cells, then inject them with genetic material. Transformation. The bacteria reaches out and grabs DNA. The bacteria cell, through the process called competence, has the ability to pull foreign DNA through plasma membranes. This DNA can come from other bacteria cells that have died. The cell then goes through the process of recombination, in which the cell takes the foreign DNA and combines it with their own. Now the DNA is part of the bacteria cell's DNA. Why are bacteria becoming resistant to antibiotics? Misuse and abuse of antibiotics. This is not finishing the entire course, saving some for later, or taking someone else's. Lack of basic hygiene, not properly washing your hands. No new antibiotics are being developed. Up until 2 years ago, the last antibiotic was developed in 1986. Overprescribing. An estimated 154 million antibiotics are prescribed yearly through doctors' offices and emergency rooms. Why should you be concerned? Nobody wants to be sick, and nobody wants to catch the same bug as it makes the second or even third trip around the family. Who wants to be in the hospital? And for a long time, no one. This is also a drain on finances and missing school and work. Then we have the superbugs. These are the bacteria that have become resistant and now must be treated in the hospital. What can you do to help? I'm so glad you asked. Let me tell you about the ABCs of antibiotics. First is ask. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. Remember, we pay them, or at least our insurance does. Ask, what is causing this infection? Is it viral or is it bacterial? Is there any other treatment besides antibiotics? Be sure to ask when you should start feeling better. That way, if you aren't, you can contact your doctor. B is for be aware. Antibiotics only treat bacterial infections, nothing else, not even viruses. Because the purpose of antibiotics is to kill bacteria, it can't tell the difference between good and bad bacteria. You might want to see about a probiotic to help with the good gut bacteria. Know the side effects of the antibiotic. For that matter, any medication you take. Some side effects can be deadly. C is for complete. Make sure to take the entire course of antibiotics unless your doctor tells you differently. Most antibiotics are prescribed to be taken 3 times a day. Take them before or after you eat. And if you're like me, I can't even remember to take one allergy pill every day. Set an alarm on your phone. Remember, your health is in your hands. Now go wash them. Here's a small chart to make sure that you are using basic hygiene practices. Here's another FYI chart. My cell phone with case has over 8 million bacteria on it. These are just some of the things that we use every day, sometimes several times a day.